welcome to EduSearch Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this brand new series of EduSearch called Patient Talks. It gives us great pleasure to launch this series on the World Cancer Day, which is an attempt of the Union for International Cancer Control or UICC to spread awareness on cancer and to create action at different levels to educate the masses regarding what is cancer, how it can be treated, why it happens, what are the symptoms when you should meet your doctor, and these all actions in turn will lead to reduction in the number of advanced cancer cases that we see in our country today. So let us dive into the digestive tract cancer awareness series of the patient talks. So this is the third part of our digestive tract cancer awareness series. And just to give a quick recap, if you are seeing the first video in our series, we are discussing as per the organ of the digestive tract, what causes cancer in that organ, what are the risk factors for that cancer, and are you at risk? What are the symptoms, that is how you can identify if you have disease related to that particular organ of the digestive tract so that you can meet your doctor. So this third part is to discuss the diseases and risk factors as well as symptoms of gallbladder cancer. So just like all other parts, I would again like to stress this series has been created because of the total number of people dying of cancer every year. More than one third of them can be avoided, and these can be avoided by early detection. That is, if you can identify your symptoms, if you are aware, you can know the symptoms and meet your doctor as soon as possible. And by making some lifestyle changes as well as by spreading awareness and education, you can to some extent prevent cancer. So we can reduce the extent of cancer spread in our society by early detection and prevention, and this is the aim of this series. So again, like the previous two videos, first we will see the gallbladder is located in the right upper abdomen just below the liver. The green structure there is the gallbladder. Just to simplify it here, the green structure that you can see is the gallbladder, and in our schematic way, the green structure is the gallbladder. So the gallbladder is located just below the liver. What it does is the gallbladder stores bile. As we discussed in the liver cancer video, the liver produces bile. This bile is stored in the liver, in the gallbladder, sorry, and it secretes the bile. When we consume something, there are some markers by which the gallbladder understands that now it has to secrete this bile so as to help in fat digestion. So the gallbladder secretes this bile, and this bile then goes through this duct which is known as the bile duct and opens into the duodenum. So this is the route. The gallbladder secretes bile which through the bile duct enters the duodenum or the small intestine. And gallbladder also concentrates bile, that is, it absorbs a large amount of water from the bile, so, and reduces the volume of the bile. So these are the functions of gallbladder. Now a lot of people ask, because gallstones are routinely present, if gallbladder is removed, what will happen? So there is a saying in our history that whenever the river is flowing, stones cannot form. The most common disease of gallbladder is gallstones, and these stones form only when the gallbladder stops functioning. That is, when it cannot contract and distend to secrete the bile. The bile becomes stagnant in the gallbladder, and this is when these stones form. So when the stones form, the gallbladder essentially is without function, and hence removal of gallbladder will not harm you in any way.
The bile produced by liver will then directly flow into the intestine without getting stored or concentrated in the gallbladder. That is about the only change that will happen in your lifestyle. So, removing the gallbladder will not cause long term effects in your body. So, gallstones are the most common disease that I am sure most of you are aware of. Are they linked to gallbladder cancer? No one is sure. There is an association, that is, a lot of patients with gallbladder cancer have gallstones. But we do not know if gallstones cause gallbladder cancer or are they just present because of the sheer increased incidence of gallstones in the society. However, if gallstones are diagnosed, it is better to remove them because the surgery can be done by keyhole technique and the risk of gallbladder cancer is removed from the body. Again, obesity, that is heavy weight and physical inactivity, sedentary lifestyle is a risk factor for gallbladder cancer. As for many other cancers, as you have seen so far, smoking is a risk factor for gallbladder cancer as well. And pre-existing gallbladder or bile duct diseases such as porcelain gallbladder. Now, what is porcelain gallbladder? It is rare, but it is a gallbladder with calcium deposits in the gallbladder wall. And this anatomical finding is also related to gallbladder cancer. Polyps in the gallbladder. Say you got a health checkup ultrasound done and there is a polyp in the gallbladder. This polyp again needs surveillance with repeated ultrasounds at 6 months or 3 months or removal of gallbladder depending on the size of the polyp. Choledochal cyst is a congenital, that is a defect which is present since birth, and choledochal cyst is abnormal dilatation. Cyst is a dilatation of the bile duct which is known as choledochal cyst, and these patients are also at increased risk of gallbladder as well as bile duct cancer. Sclerosing cholangitis, on the other hand, is narrowing of the bile duct. So, dilatation of the bile duct or choledochal cyst and narrowing of the bile duct or sclerosing cholangitis, both of these diseases predispose to gallbladder cancer. Again, I would like to stress that not all the patients with these diseases will have gallbladder cancer, but if we have to prevent cancer, we have to identify at least these patients and put them under surveillance so that we can early identify cancer in them early. Non-modifiable risk factor for gallbladder cancer are very few. One is female gender, which is more prone to gallbladder cancer than males, and advancing age. So these are the non-modifiable risk factors for gallbladder cancer. Now, to suspect if you have a gallbladder disease or not, I'm sure a lot of you know already about how to suspect gallstones or gallbladder disease in your body. The most common way of knowing this is right or central upper abdominal pain, which goes to right upper back. So, if you have right or central right upper abdominal pain going to right upper back, especially this pain increases after taking food, predominantly fried or fatty food, then there is a chance of having gallstones or gallbladder disease. Again, unplanned weight loss, loss of appetite, and early satiety. A lot of gallbladder disease patients have heaviness in the upper abdomen after food, which lasts for half an hour to 1 hour and then it disappears. This is known as postprandial fullness or fullness in the upper abdomen after meals, especially after fatty meals. This is a common symptom of gallbladder disease. Gallbladder may be palpable by hand sometimes in the right upper abdomen. Fever and jaundice. These two are bad markers if present in a gallbladder cancer, but fever, pain, and jaundice also can be present in patients with stone which have entered into the bile duct. So these are classical symptoms of gallbladder and bile duct disease, High grade fever with chills and rigors, that is, you will have fever with shivering. Jaundice, as I have already described, but just to revise, in case you have not seen the previous videos, jaundice is yellowish discoloration of eyes, skin, urine, and white or clay colored stools and itching felt over the body. This is classical jaundice of gallbladder and biliary disease. Again, you can have nausea or vomiting, which may or may not contain blood. And if you have any of these symptoms, you should meet your doctor as soon as possible for assessment. So now that you know the symptoms and risk factors for gallbladder disease or gallbladder cancer, the common preventive strategies are modification in diet and lifestyle. As we have seen so far, these two are the most important preventive strategies against most of the cancers that occur in the body, especially for the digestive tract cancer. So increase fresh fruits and vegetables in the diet. Avoid fried and fatty food and processed meat. These are dietary changes that you can make. In lifestyle changes, weight reduction, physical activity of 30 minutes a day or more than 250 minutes in a week, and quit alcohol and smoking, or at least limit alcohol consumption but quit smoking. And if there is presence of gallstones or gallbladder polyps which are worrisome for cancer, the best preventive strategy is removal of the gallbladder. This is an easy surgery when the cancer is not present, and if done by an experienced surgeon should not be a problem. For presence of choledochal cysts, that is the dilatation of the bile duct, again preventive surgery is removal of the choledochal cyst along with the gallbladder so as to prevent the risk of cancer. However, not all patients will fall into this category. The key point here is that there are preventive strategies for gallbladder cancer, and early detection in the form of presence or absence of gallstones and polyps, which you can easily get removed by a keyhole surgery, can be performed. Again, if you have any of the symptoms that are discussed in this presentation, meet your doctor as soon as possible so as to get assessed for presence or absence of a disease. It is not that you have cancer if you have these symptoms, but you should meet your doctor to discuss the symptoms. All patients with risk and symptoms need awareness and education. So spread these videos in your community, your society, to your friends and colleagues, or your patients if you are a doctor, so that we can reach most of the community and help in reduction of risk of cancer in the society. Again, have a regular follow-up with the doctor if you have these symptoms. For gallbladder screening, we can do a CAT scan or MRI or a PET scan, and blood tests are CA and CA 19.9, and they can do an endoscopy or removal of the gallbladder as and when required. So these are the different options by which we can manage symptoms related to gallbladder disease. I hope you are enjoying this series. We have finished liver, pancreas, gallbladder, and a generalized overview of risk factors and preventive strategies for cancer. In the upcoming videos, we will just revise in brief the digestive system and deal with upper GI, which is food pipe and stomach, and lower GI, which is colon and rectum cancer. Thank you.